had a dream recently where a voice told me those that are willing to die together are most likely to see victory. And a lot of this, I think, has to do with seeing the overall people around the world going through a variety of different struggles and challenges and really honing in on what exactly they want out of life and what exactly the proclivity that people have toward certain modes of being more so than others. Because the indiscreetness of people nowadays, when it comes to their openness of fraud or greed or lust or manipulation, and yet so subtly, whenever it's reflected back to them, they get upset. It's almost like we, as godly people, live in a day and age where we simply cannot even play the game because it's a losing game. And the only way to win is to not play sometimes. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't participate in the world, but this video in of itself is going to be a bit of a quest to understand my own feelings about what's happening, as well to kind of articulate things to the best of my ability and to demonstrate the chain of my thoughts so that you guys can see clearly what exactly I'm saying and why I'm thinking in the way that I am. Because people are scary nowadays. I'm getting this weird feeling for the last week and a half or so. Ever since the new year, I haven't been able to sleep very much. I don't know why. It's never been a problem for me, never been an issue. Last night, however, was the first night that I got more than 6 hours of sleep this whole year during the nighttime. And usually I get about 7 to 8.5 hours of sleep pretty consistently. And I don't know if it's just the spirit of the time really demonstrating and just bringing out a manifestation of a certain kind of spirit in people or what, but it's almost as if I am seeing more darkness coming. Everybody seems to think that things are going to get better, and I don't necessarily think that that's the case. And this is not a doomsday kind of a video or anything like that, but it is something that I am seeing people more as a threat each day, because these are the same kinds of people that will smile to your face and backstab you seconds later when you just turn your back. I mean, it's that crazy of a world. And people are more jealous than ever. They're more envious than ever. They're more intimidated, because if you're somebody that has standards and values and principles, all of a sudden you're a target. All of a sudden you're somebody that you're on the monitoring spirits watch list. And monitoring spirits are going to be everywhere. And you need to really look at how you're living and operating your life to ensure that the likelihood of you seeing what you want to see happen in your life, that likelihood is ever increasing. But it's almost as if we can't even participate in the world anymore as godly people. And I don't get it. Like, I really don't get it. I'm at a loss for words, because I don't see the thing that I don't get, to be clear, is that nobody's doing anything about anything. Everybody wants to have all this talk, everybody wants to have all this stuff going on, but they're not doing anything. And then finally, when somebody does something, they're ostracized for it. They're criminalized. Like they have this target on their back now. And all of a sudden, you being the person with standards and principles and abiding by those things, now have a targeted presence everywhere you go, it seems like. And I've talked about targeted individuals before, but this is just something different. I don't know if this is anything that anybody else is experiencing. I'm sure that there is, because I cannot be the only one that is feeling this kind of nervousness around people. It's like we can't even trust the people in our own community. And that's where I'm starting to, and the thing is I live in a community that for the most part is pretty close knit and is relatively better than most places. And even still in nowadays, it's almost as if trying to cultivate and emulate a version of trust that ensures everlasting positive interaction while being capable with open discussion about certain things. Because a real friend, a real person that, because I don't necessarily have friends, I don't necessarily buy into that concept anymore, because, and I don't understand these people that are going around talking to everybody all the time. It's all an image, and they're all just trying to, oh, hey, how are you doing? How are you doing? Hey, good to see you. Good to see you. Like, don't we have something better to do than to just talk with people? And I understand the most important part of relationships is maintenance, but to constantly just have the same conversations with people and expect there to be any kind of development of the relationship itself has never truly made sense to me. And it seems as though people are lacking conscientiousness within their relationships. And I think that's a big part of why I'm so nervous around certain people, and I'm kind of scared of these people sometimes, is not necessarily because I'm intimidated by them. It's because, well, what are you exactly up to, buddy? What exactly do you think you're doing here? What are you trying to get from me? Because that seems to be all that people are trying to do nowadays. They're all just trying to get something for you or from you. And this is why I'm very open and transparent about my intentions and about what I'm doing and about how I'm doing it and how I operate. Because I don't necessarily need to manipulate anybody for people to listen to me or to talk to me or to do business with me. I don't need to do that kind of thing, because I am completely transparent about everything that I do when I'm in business or in an actual relationship of some kind. I'm not talking about significant other intimate relationships, even though that's part of it, but I'm talking about any kind of relationship. And I go above and beyond in every kind of relationship that I do as much as I can. Why? Because to not do so would, to me, be what am I even in the relationship for? There's a interesting idea in Buddhism where it says something along the lines of, you are not the relationship, they are not the relationship, but you exist in the relationship together. And I remember reading about this idea when I was 12 years old. And for some reason that made sense to me. I didn't know why, but that made sense to me. And I thought to myself, okay, that makes sense. Because in order to be in the relationship, there has to be something or someone to relate to. And it's more of a chemical reaction. It's more of a chemical response between two personalities. Okay, that kind of makes sense. So, yeah, it would make sense also that I am just as much a part of the relationship as they are a part of the relationship with me. And so the more that we are able to grow closer together and to help build each other up, the better the relationship is going to be. That made sense to me, and it still does to this day. Even though I'm not Buddhist, I follow Christ, but that idea, that concept still makes sense to me. And I practice it in my day-to-day life with anybody that I'm actually having in my circle or anything like that. And it just goes to show that the people that are authentic and godly are so far and few and in between that it's almost as if when you meet one, you almost can't believe it. You almost cannot believe that there's a genuine person in front of you that's not playing games, that's keeping it real, shout out to all the real ones out there, because I'm not afraid of those kinds of people. Even though there are some people that are evil that are real. And guess what? I'd rather have an enemy that I know is an enemy than somebody that acts like a friend but truly is an enemy. Okay? I'd much rather know who the enemy is and what they're up to and know, okay, that is the enemy, than to think that somebody's my friend and somebody's just, being there, supporting me, all these things, when in reality, they're working as a spy or something to try to get intel or information about me, and which I've had happen plenty of times before. And we've even had recently with certain things going on in the communities that we have. So it's like we're to a point now where the fragility of relationships is at an all-time high, and the transcendence that exists in the relationship is dissolving by the day. That's what it seems like to me. And that's what makes me a little terrified of people nowadays and scared of people, is because they don't want to have a relationship to God. They would rather turn the blind eye instead of turning the other cheek, which doesn't necessarily mean what you might think it means, Christians out there, but you turn a blind eye instead of turning the cheek, and what that does is it just puts the problems under the rug. It just puts people's problems on the back burner and table, and nothing ever really happens. This is what I think is most wrong with the world, is people are not only not doing things about things and the problems, but people are being rewarded for solving the wrong problems. And this is what's going on in the universities, by the way. The universities, people are being rewarded for trying to solve the wrong problems incorrectly. And people are punished for trying to solve the right problems correctly. That's where we're at in our society. And that has had a ripple effect amongst the entire society that we live in. Have you ever noticed that the most of the people that are actually trying to do the right things and solve the right problems are often the most punished? And a lot of this has to do with a lack of playfulness and a playfulness to the approach of life. People don't know how to play anymore. People take things too damn seriously. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't take things seriously, but I'm saying that if we don't have an element and a essence of playfulness to the things that we're doing, it just becomes, we're just hamsters on a wheel at that point. What is actually getting done? We're just working to work? Really? We're just doing busy work now? Is that what this is? And that's what a lot of the university stuff was anyway. And I didn't like it at all because I saw through it. I saw that this was simply just busy work. It wasn't actually propelling me towards something that is higher than me. It was just to do something. And so when I think back to the universities, and I think back to even just a few years ago where I started to follow Christ and I started to really make questions about certain things and formulate certain possibilities in which we could solve this problem. Because the problem that I see, and this is the quest that I was talking about at the very beginning, is the quest that I see to solve the problem with right now is the God-shaped hole in society. This is what I see happening in society, is the God-shaped hole. And how do we fill that hole? How do we solve that problem? By helping people realize what it is that's not fulfilling them. Because it is an increase, as Carl Jung said, it's an increase of consciousness to at least know what you're not to do, or what you don't know, rather than something that you know. It's still an increase of consciousness. And so if you are aware of what it is that you don't know, and then you make incremental efforts to know more about it, because you understand that what you don't know and what you want to know more about is going to affect you and the lives of other people around you in a more positive way that influences a capacity and a how do I say this? It influences a capacity toward everlasting wisdom, insight, and the beauty of life to be experienced and not just imagined. Because that's really what we're trying to do as well. We're bringing our imagination into reality. And part of imagination, which is a God-given gift, by the way, part of the imagination and the imaginative process is being able to look at our lives and see what exactly we want to be doing with it. And I'm not saying that we need to focus on the works more than faith, okay? But do you want to just sit around? Is that really what you're planning to do? Too many people just want to say, oh, well, Jesus will take care of it. God will take care of it. Okay, yeah, God will do whatever he needs to do, and God will do whatever he wants to do. But that doesn't mean that we just get to sit back and chill and just be like, oh, God's handling it. It's chill. It's chill, guys. What the are you kidding me? I don't plan to just watch something happen that I see is wrong. I'm going to have to say something about it. I'm going to have to do something about it. That's just who I am. And I'm not here to judge anybody, but I'm not here to be anybody's friend either. Not necessarily. Okay, I'm here to hopefully guide myself and orient myself toward a proper state of being in spirit and truth, and hopefully help others do the same. And so, yeah, it's a terrifying world, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we need to be leaning into the spirit of fear, okay? God will reward us with boldness and courage. He will reward you for that. And he'll reward you in a way that you might not even expect. But that's the point, though, is living the truth is this fantastic realm of uncertainty that anything can happen. You don't know what's going to happen, but this is what you think and do to do what is right, to think what is right. When you're on that path, it's like the world opens up to you in a way that you would have never possibly imagined. It's like there's a door that was there that was never there before. And it only appears unto you when you make a commitment to God saying, look, I'm going to live what is true and let die what is false to the best of my ability. Poof, all of a sudden these doors start popping up that you didn't see before. It's as if you had a different lens on and now you put on different lenses of truth, because beforehand you had the lens of illusion. And now you put on these lenses of truth, and now you can see a new dimension of life right in front of you. And it was right in front of you the whole time. You just didn't see it. So I hope this video was useful and insightful for you guys. If you do want to join the Regal Change Academy, we have the free Discord available as well as the paid community. In the free Discord, you'll have a bunch of different kinds of free resources for meditation and fitness, etc., as well as the godly community itself. In the Regal Change Academy, we have the Art of War class series going on right now, which is probably one of the reasons why I had the dream that I did at the very beginning I talked about. And we also have the virtual meditation retreat coming up in just about a month. I just made a formal announcement on my community page and the X platform as well. So if you want to know more information about that, go check that out. People that are not in the Regal Change Academy but want to participate will be able to do so. This is going to be one of the few events that we do in the Regal Change Academy that you're going to have this opportunity. So this is the time to take advantage of that. And this is going to be something where you'll learn different kinds of meditation techniques that you might have not even known about beforehand. So that's going to be something to really look forward to. We also have the Godlike Savage workshop, meditation, narcissistic healing workshops, etc. in there. And then we do have, as part of the membership, 2 weekly Bible study calls, as well as a weekly congregation where we meet and talk about a variety of different subjects. I do appreciate everybody that has been moving their subscribers and support from YouTube over to X, Rumble, and Instagram recently. I appreciate your guys' extra support. And with all that being said, peace be with you all. Till next time.